Hey, welcome back to Driver 88. This is Nick. Today we have a special guest. We've had some really cool guests in the last month. It is Ross from Ross Reviews.
What is going on?
How are we?
Good.
Welcome to Melbourne.
Yes, I love it here.
88.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. Talk about, I guess, Ross's origin story, his YouTube channel, his journey, which is pushing almost like 5-6 years now, right?
Yeah, I think we're coming up to 5 years.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
I was looking back on the channel. I think your first car that I think that you reviewed was, I think it was a Holden. Was it a Holden?
It was a Holden. Yeah, it was my old daily.
Hell yeah, man. That's why I like origin stories, is because they start from just wherever you wish. First, tell me about Melbourne. What are you doing here?
Yep. I'm down here again for the week in the beautiful city. I always like coming down here. It's a crazy car scene. So every time I come down here, it's like I get just too many people. I can't actually get to them all. So we're here for the week, just filming lots of crazy builds and cool cars.
Mustangs.
Some wild Mustangs we can talk about too. Yeah. Today we did. And still got a hectic 3 or 4 days still, I think, here. And
cool.
Yeah, it's
and you've got a loaner BMW new M2 as well.
M2, the new one, nice. I'm loving it.
Very nice. And you've come all the way from Perth.
Yep.
Tell me, what is the story with Perth? How long have you lived there? How did you get there first?
I've been in Perth for, I think it's 11 years almost now.
So
been there for a while.
Yeah.
I never actually thought I would base myself there, but when I first moved to Australia, I had a cousin who was living there, and he was mining, and then I actually started as a miner, so I was an underground miner.
Yeah, cool.
So I used to do that for 5-6 years before I started thinking about YouTube.
Yeah.
But I was always traveling while I was mining, so it was like,
of course,
I lived there, but I didn't really live there. I was just working, and then I'd travel. So I was in Melbourne a lot, actually. I was in Asia a lot.
Yeah. So you were essentially like a FIFO.
I was a FIFO, and then every time I was off, I'd just kind of go somewhere.
Yeah. Fair enough. Cool. So what made you first pick up a camera and think, I want to start reviewing cars and create vlogs, etc.?
It was really when I had my first kid. I bought a Skyline. Not the cool Skyline though, guys. It was like the V35 Skyline. I'm not gonna lie, but it was a really nice one. Like I bought it in Sydney, manual, 35,000 Ks, absolutely every option was on it, and
for a while there, that was super affordable.
Mine was expensive. I think I paid 16 grand for it, and that was a lot of money for one of those back then.
And now what can you get for 16 grand now?
Oh, nothing. Peanuts. So I bought that, and then I drove it back to Perth. I crossed the Nullarbor.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And then I was still working mining at the time. I had my first boy, and then I just seen it in the garage all the time. I never really got to drive it much. And then I said, maybe I should sell it. I don't know why. I just thought I should sell it.
Yeah.
Sold it, instant regret. I was like, man, I need a car. What was I thinking? Then I'm like, well, I don't want to just go out and buy something else. And then I thought, I started actually watching YouTube, and I think it was like Doug DeMiro. Yeah. At the beginning when I started watching him, and I just sort of binge watched him, and I'm like, man, look at this guy. Like, just average dude, like
there's no trickery or
rolling
fancy.
up with like this basic camera and just ripping these cars, and I'm like, hold on, this guy can do it, maybe I can do that, instead of having to go out and buy a new car. I really started the channel just to like be able to experience these cars that obviously either I couldn't afford yet, or I'd never had the opportunity to drive. So definitely was a challenge to get people on in the beginning. But,
of course. I know about that.
But it was, surprisingly enough, there was always someone saying yes. And I think I just kind of got lucky with certain videos I did, and no one was doing it really in Perth, at least. And then not many people were even doing it in Australia. So
not really.
I think that's how I lucked out.
Yeah, and I guess from your early stuff, the snowball effect, right? Like, you start with one car, someone sees it, and then
that's it.
Someone is friends with that person, and then someone who owns that car reaches out to you.
That was 90% of how I went. And it was really, if you watch my early videos, like, it was not pretty. Like,
it wasn't that bad.
I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I wasn't trained.
I watched your first video, which was I think it's a what is it
The
called?
Holden Malibu.
Malibu, that's it. Which was like the is it Thai? Is it a Thai originally car? It's like a Daewoo or something.
It made in Korea, I think they were.
Oh, Korea.
Yeah,
sorry.
and but I bought that for my missus at the time, and
just all
I just thought I'll try. Because I'd already sold the Skyline, so I was what do I do?
Like, it really wasn't bad. It was easy to watch. Like, and obviously you've improved now with like more editing and B-roll and all that.
Yeah,
sort of stuff.
I've learned on the way pretty much. Yeah, so it's been a learning curve, like trying to learn out how to use cameras and frame rates and drones and GoPros and all the little stuff. Miking. Oh yeah, it was the mining is totally different. Yeah, it's the opposite.
And speaking of that, as you sort of progress, like your consistency has been really, really good. And I think that's what's brought you to where you are now as well.
Absolutely.
There was a video I watched from maybe a couple of years ago that really like got my interest. I can't remember when, but you quite literally burnt the high vis.
Oh yes, yeah.
So basically took the plunge, went full time. Tell me about that transition. I'm assuming you're a man with a young family.
Yeah.
You're just gonna like go all in on this thing that you started yourself. It's pretty inspiring, to be honest. I like.
Yep. It was inspiring, but man, it's hard work. Like, bro, it's not. Yo, I had some headaches, man. Like,
I'm sure.
Because that video probably was like almost 2 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
And I quit. I thought, the channel's doing so well at 1 video per week, so if I go 2 or 3 videos per week, it should 2 or 3 times. But it doesn't really work that way. So like, it basically quit, and I'm like, I'm posting like 3 times as much content, but I'm really getting not much
maybe
more
30
return.
or 40% more.
Yeah, like wasn't what I was hoping for, and then it was a real struggle, probably for like a year. Like I made it work, but it was like. I was on peanuts, man. Like I was on peanuts, and I wasn't going out. I wasn't doing anything. Like I was literally just
focused,
trying to find a car next, and like trying to do a video, like and improve the video quality, and just doing everything I could. I thought to like grow the channel.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't probably till last year, when things started to finally like get to a level where it was like, okay, I can actually have a bit of a breath now.
Yeah.
And
at least everything's paid, and you're at least got some.
Yeah, it's like I can actually
breathing room,
have some wiggle room now to like, okay, I got enough money, I can live now. It's like before it was hard, man.
Yeah, no, I can see the work, like the amount of vlogs you put out, the amount of reviews. I can see you hustling like hell since then and still now, which is really cool. Let's talk about like some of the things that I think really helped you break out to where you are now. Let's talk about Barras, because I think with your channel you're starting to review a bit of everything now, Euros, etc. But one of those big things I noticed would come up on my screen is like these crazy horsepower Barras, which I guess picked up a lot on the internet because they're unique to Australia. But there's also the big global interest because it's a Ford. So
I definitely I got lucky. The third video I ever made was on an F6. So an F6 310, it was one of my mates, and he was selling it, and he said, come and do a video on this, it's a really cool car actually, and I had no idea about it. So when I was living in Oz, I was always traveling, and I was into cars, but I kind of made sure I didn't buy a car because I wanted to have no commitments. I just wanted to be able to go somewhere whenever I wanted.
Fair enough.
And so I ended up going and catching up with him, and I drove that car. And if you watch that video, I was so shocked how good it was. I was expecting it, a family car, 4 doors, whatever. And man, it was insane. So that video exploded to about 100,000 views pretty quickly. So that really helped me find new cars to review as well. And they liked the fact that I was North American, experiencing an Aussie car. So AusDM is the niche that really is taking me up. And that's why I probably focus a lot on AusDM cars, because I know that they pay the bills. So
there's a strong local interest.
There is. So honestly, 90% of my cars that I get emailed about, I've got this car, I've got this, it's always
HSVs or
it's AusDM stuff. But luckily the Aussies love their cars so much that they vary so much. So the mods are worth checking individually. Like,
and I guess now that these cars are getting a few years old, the mod's getting more extreme and more varied, as you said.
They're getting way more extreme.
Like all of a sudden you're seeing a lot of turbos on HSVs, where not long ago when I was growing up, like you never saw turbo HSVs at all.
Yeah, the people are spending crazy money now. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And this nostalgia hits twice as hard now because it's all finished.
Yeah.
So people are really, they're looking back and loving these things. What else? What is going on at the moment, man? What are your sort of goals for this thing? It's your full-time job.
It's my full-time. I love meeting the people. I think it was all about driving the cars at first.
Yeah.
But then as like time's gone on, like you get kind of used to all the cars, and it's like it's only kind of one every 50, 60, 80 cars that really wows you nowadays, and it's like, but really it's usually the people, like. If they're willing to come and like bring their, $60, $80, $100,000+ car, let you drive it, and
especially if
they've got a passion about it and they want to share. So like they're always really cool. I always like knowing the story. Like, what does he do? Like, what got him into this? Like, how did he modify this? Why did he get this car? Like that's always the cool thing, I think. And then driving it's always fun as well. But
I get that too. That's why I like having podcasts, is hear people's origin stories, and then cars are just an easy topic to just constantly talk about. What are you driving at the moment?
I've got a F6 Typhoon, so BF series, and
so that's quite late into the it's not far from the finish of Falcon BF2, is it?
Well, they
FG after that, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, they started the XR6 Turbo and the Typhoon with the BA.
Yeah.
In I think 2003, and then. Mine's an 06, so it's the first of like the BF, and then it was FG, and then you had FGX, and that was it.
Oh, that was
So
I'm well off.
But my it's pretty rare. Like it's the BF, the B series Typhoons. There wasn't too many of them because it was kind of they come out when everyone was still V8s.
Yeah.
So not many people really opted for the XR6 turbo version until the FG, when they seen, hold on, these Barras actually can go.
Far more potential than the V8.
Far more potential than the Boss, so.
Yeah. Well, I remember but reading those magazines of HSV versus Ford. It was constant on the Wheels magazines.
Yeah.
And since after the turbos came out, probably from that BF onwards, it was just there's no comparison in terms of from a straight line perspective.
Yeah,
it was no comparison.
Yeah, they make
easy
power.
But then HSV came back with the latest supercharged cars as well.
Yeah.
You drive a lot of HSVs as well.
I do.
What have you driven lately?
Well, I was here. I actually just did a video on a VF GTS. So it's got the LSA motor up front, and that was making 550 kilowatt, the wheels.
It's not bad.
6-speed manual.
Yeah.
And
Troy County spec.
Oh man, the noise out of an LSA is it's so something
good
to convert a Barra fanboy. Cause
absolutely.
It's
quite unique.
It's so good.
Yeah. My brother used to have an 800 horsepower one, and he regrets selling it. He had it for a few years and sold it for the same price he bought it for, so that was good too.
Yeah.
But he regrets it still now.
Yeah, honestly, that car. Those VF GTSs, it's hard to beat.
The difference, I think, between driving that car is that the very last HSV, I think his was a 15. The handling and the braking was just far better than most of the Fords. I felt
they did. No, the VF
better all round package.
The VF caught up massive. Like the VF was on another level. It was Ford just didn't have the budget, I guess.
Kind of just petering out.
FGX was basically an FG with a body kit. So yeah.
What else, man? What are you going to be reviewing in Melbourne outside of the Mustangs, right? Some new ones?
Yes, today I just filmed 2 Mustangs, so an SM17 and a DJR 40th anniversary, so Dick Johnson Racing Edition. 50 of the SM17s were only built and 80 of the DJRs. Cool. But this DJR was a one of one, basically, was like the prototype, as you would say.
Shit, okay.
So every single option you could do was ticked. Fully built motor, forged 3-liter Whipple supercharger, all brake upgrade. They got to have Magnaride, and they get this custom Magnaride suspension tune. All the struts are upgraded. You get a bigger I think the 305s at the back now.
You'd need 305s.
Oh, sure. It's man.
How many horsepower was it?
900 horsepower and full roll cage.
You'd want that too.
With harness Recaros.
You'd want all that. Yeah.
Oh man, it's like and it had the 10-speed automatic.
Oh shit. Okay. And was that strengthened? Oh, obviously.
It was strengthened and tuned, but it's just the thing about that gearbox is it's just any light press, even just in drive, like it just has so much fluctuation. So
I was literally going to say that word for word. Like I drove maybe an 19 Mustang.
Yeah.
When it was new at the time, and this thing was just hunting around. Like, what is it? Didn't know what to do. Like you put your foot on it, and instead of going down once into the meat of the torque band, it'd go down like twice and not know exactly what it wanted to do. And then add 900 horsepower and rear-wheel drive. You just feel
I know. I think it's safer if you use the paddles and lock it in sports because, but I was pretty baby it. I wasn't going too crazy. This was a one of one, and I asked him the price tag and $300,000 from Herod. So, for a Mustang, I think that's what they're gonna charge for the new. What's that Mustang that just come out to compete with the GT3 RS, wasn't it?
That thing.
I believe that was going to be about $300,000 as well.
300 US though.
US though, that's US.
Probably means it's usually 600.
It will be double that here. Yeah, probably $1 million here.
Dude, that must have been a big shock when you came from the US to see the fucking car prices here.
How
insane they are.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of cars are just simply double. Like,
it's ludicrous. Like, and I guess it just comes to tax, I'm assuming, but like
mostly.
It's because I was born and raised in Canada, and I used to remember looking up a car I want to buy here, and then I'd look it up used in Canada, and it would literally be like, if the car is 60 grand here, it might be like 25 grand in Canada. I'm like, what is going on?
It's like when I watch is it not Throttle House, the other one? The exhaust. There's guys who review cars from Canada. What are they called?
There's a Goose Guy.
I've watched them, but not the Goose Guys.
It's Throttle House.
It's the straight pipes.
Straight pipes, the straight pipes.
And usually, like when they've got like a 3RS and something, and I look at the price, I'm like, it's like $200,000 less in Canada than here. It's usually more expensive in Canada than the US, though.
It would be a little bit,
but it's still way better than Australia.
That's the lucky thing about Canada is because they're so close to the US. It's still a bit more than the US, but they get stuff. It's so close that it's easy for them to do it, and they're on the same side of the road and everything. So. And what was
the main reason why you left was just work, or?
I left Canada when I was like 19 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I just was.
Adventure,
didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go into uni without really knowing what I wanted to do. So.
Yeah.
I was like, my family's from New Zealand, so I had a passport.
Cool.
So I said, I'm just going to go check out New Zealand and just see what there is. So I went for about a year or two. Didn't really like it. So had a cousin who was already in Australia, and then he just came and convinced me. And I was like, as soon as I landed in Oz, everything was better than New Zealand. And I originally wanted to leave Canada because I hated the winter. So I hate cold.
Yeah, I mean Melbourne is colder, but it's nothing like places that actually snow.
Yeah, it's cold here, but like if I had first moved to Melbourne, I would have thought this is like a tropical paradise. It's like
And how do you find Perth? I'm honestly thinking of moving to Perth myself sometimes with being a car enthusiast. I guess because there's just like so much police and cameras everywhere here, and also arguably. What are the roads like? Lots of good places to go, trips and stuff?
Perth is got a good car community. Like it's got a good car scene. There's like almost any car you could think of, they got it. Yeah. And like even the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Lawrence and the Lee collection.
Like, of course. Yeah.
He's just like literally 15 minutes from my house.
Yeah, nice.
And like the stuff he's got is just insane. But also on the custom side, like JDM, OzDM, like old classics, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But the roads are really good. The people don't know how to drive.
That's everywhere. Everywhere in Australia.
The speed limits are too slow.
Oh yeah. Agreed.
And we have like really bad like hidden speed cameras.
Yeah, we have heaps here.
So they put them on tripods and like hide them in the bush.
Oh yeah.
Like
we I think when I was years ago they used to put them in bins and stuff like
that. That's the worst thing. But if you go out of the hot spots, like
I noticed a lot of your videos are like in the middle of
I always try and go out like an hour out just so that there's no traffic and stuff. But in terms of road, WA has really good roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
like
to
it's
try it out myself.
smooth, flat, and
not as many potholes as
no potholes. Not any,
Yeah.
like if this is like a 10 on bad potholes, like Perth's like a 0. There's no potholes.
Yeah, nice. This is good information.
Yeah.
We need to do some sort of adventure to Perth. Have you been around, say, like the car scene in Adelaide, Sydney?
I've been
Brisbane?
Sydney, Gold Coast, Brisbane. I went up to Cairns as well. But yeah, I'm yet to go to Adelaide.
Yeah.
I have a Hellcat apparently waiting.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm going to Adelaide quickly.
Yeah, cool. For sure. There'll be plenty of stuff.
The Challenger Hellcat is there, and the guy's like, "Yep, come and do it." I'm like, "Okay, I'm coming."
And as soon as you say you're going there, there'll be all these people who come out of the woodwork and say,
"Yeah, I've had a lot of people from Adelaide put their hands up for like the last couple of years, so there's definitely a big scene there."
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
we're about to drive up there in a week and a half actually for there's a Ferrari festival at the Bend.
Yeah,
and
cool.
Our mate's got his F1 car that he's going to be doing a shakedown with. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to try and film that, which should be cool.
That would be fun.
And then there's some Ferrari concourse thing where all these people with tweed hats are going to, look at paintwork or something like that. But the F1 car is going to be cool.
That would be very cool, yeah.
Yeah, you should try and get to the Bend, though, because that's some really cool stuff there as well. Tell me, man, more origin story, but even earlier, what was like the first time you really got into cars or had that experience where you're like, I'm just hooked on this? Like, you're 10 years old and you're in the back of some car, or you saw or heard some sort of vehicle. Into the memory bank.
I was always kind of like a bit of a gamer, I guess, when I was like a kid. So I was always kind of into like racing games and stuff like that. Like Gran
Turismo or other stuff?
Yeah, Gran Turismo. I had an Xbox, so I was like, I think it was like Project Gotham and stuff like that. But I never really had like a cool car growing up, to experience much, but I liked cars. But I started riding motorcycles when I was like 10. Yeah. So I used to race motocross, and that was always got me into like motorsports, I guess. Yeah. And then when I moved to New Zealand, I guess that's when I started buying some coolish cars, for a 19-year-old.
As much as you can get.
I think I got a Toyota Levin first. Black top model, I think it was. So I was like, oh yeah. And then I think I upgraded that to a Celica. Yeah, put a cherry bomb on it.
Hell yeah.
Manual.
Yeah. Hell
yeah. And then I think from there,
New Zealand has a really quirky, weird car scene. Because I think because they're allowed to get away with crazier stuff than us. I've seen some just insane builds and really weird things.
You can kind of do, I think, pretty much whatever you want. Like, they let any imported car in too. There's a lot more
and now,
JDM.
Now cars are cheaper there as Australia as well. Because our taxes have just gone through the roof. So
yeah, they used to be cheaper, but
yeah, really? Anymore. I think some cars are cheaper.
Yeah, when I first moved there, cars were pretty reasonable.
Yeah. But
I think here, actually, probably they would have been reasonable here as well, though, back then. So,
but petrol's probably more expensive too. So
petrol's crazy there
because it has to go so far to the end of the world.
I was living there, literally 12, 13 years ago, and it was $2.50 a litre.
I was there a couple of weeks ago. It was, over $3 per litre, which is crazy. But amazing roads,
there's some good stuff.
Empty roads.
It's very island, feels like an island.
Yeah. It's like its own universe.
Yeah, it is.
So what is the dream car, man? I'll give you more than one. You can't pick just one.
Dream garage or something?
Two cars. 2-car garage.
Two.
Right? 2-car garage.
Oh, 2 is hard. Okay.
We could get stretched to 3 if you want. Yeah. We'd have the 3 different things that you need.
Yeah, okay. It's still challenging at 3, but I'll say, without a doubt, my absolute dream car is a Lamborghini SVJ.
Okay, yep.
Those things are just...
Yeah. I saw you post the other day, something in a Tata run.
Yeah, I'm like a fanboy for those for sure.
Do you know I could possibly get you a ride in one of those?
Oh man, hook me up. The noise of those things is just crazy.
In fact, the SV is actually louder than the SVJ.
Yeah, true.
Stock, but the SVJ is obviously you take all the particulate filters out and they get super loud. But next time you're in Melbourne, I might be able to get you a drive.
Hook me up.
Because I've driven one too, and yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah,
I would still. You're gonna be like you're crazy, but I'd still pick some other cars over it. But I'm not a big Lamborghini guy.
I'm a Lambo dude. I don't know. I just like Lambos. They're like loud, obnoxious. Like I like that.
I get it, man. I 100% get it. And then I sort of drove a bunch of Lambos, a few Ferraris and Porsches. And yeah, I'm just a Porsche man.
Porsches, I do know I've driven a couple Porsches and like they are amazing. Like in terms of just the design and handling, like it's hard to beat them. Like they've got the perfect balance already, and that's why they don't really change a whole lot because you can't perfect it. It's already perfect.
It's just the gradual improvement.
Yeah,
I think if you ever get the experience of like driving a GT3 or a GT3 RS. Figured on the road, but on track, that is just Porsche in its.
Yeah, I've driven GT4.
Yeah, nice.
Not on track, but
what year was that? Was it a manual?
Was manual.
Okay, yeah, that's a nice car.
It was nice.
I really like that.
Really nice.
Nice raspy engine and stuff.
Yeah,
they're great on track too, but anyway.
Yeah.
Right, so number 2. Which is,
so we're going 2 only, are we?
No, 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
3, okay. Well, this one is like I've always said I have to say this one because like if I was gonna have like an SUV, it's a Jeep Trackhawk.
Yeah, cool.
It's the Jeep. I drove one. I was lucky enough to review one a couple of years ago, and man, that thing was just
the mental, huh?
So good. Like I just couldn't believe it. 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
And like it weighs 2 ton. Like
it's insane.
It's just like it's just crazy. Yeah. I love it.
On our old channel, we had a Trackhawk like series with my brother's car, and we got to 2.9 seconds.
I believe it absolutely.
Yeah. And that was only light. There was like a fuel rail, like a pulley kit, a tune, and something else. And it was like 800 plus horsepower, and we did a 2.9 and a 10 point high 10s essentially.
Yeah, they're just crazy.
But then it broke. I think they're not reliable. They're not reliable.
Well, yeah, definitely. Dodge and Jeep, like they're not
not the best reputation. Not to say that they all break, but you know what I mean.
You want a warranty.
Yeah. If you can.
Yeah.
I find a lot of people buy them and then they sell them like pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But they are amazing.
Once warranty's up.
Yeah. All right, so Trackhawk for the daily duties. What's number?
Yeah, I would have Trackhawk now. The number 3 could be to a lot of cars. Like it could be like a C63. It could be
a new 63.
I would probably go with
the previous one.
Not the V8 twin turbo bi-turbo one.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually did a comparison between them. I used to always think I was the NA one, but no, I would get the other one.
Yeah. It's just more
if you can afford it, I'd get the other one.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But I think at the end of the day, if it was like that's the only car I could get, I probably would get an F6 310. Yeah. I would get an FPV F6 310, and then
Have you got many mods on yours?
I've got every bolt on basically.
Okay,
so
it makes making a bit of power.
It makes just under 500 wheel horsepower.
Yeah, no, that's enough.
Yeah,
what about torque though? Because that's probably the big difference.
I think mine's pretty lightly tuned because it's a high K engine. So
I want to just make it.
I think it was like 750 Newton meter or something.
It's enough to get the kids around.
Oh man, it still rips. Yeah, it'll still do under 5 seconds.
Yeah, nice. That's what I would love to do is be able to do like 100 to 200 testing.
Oh, I wish.
Not possible here.
Oh, I really want to get an airstrip. Like, I want to find someone who can let me hire an airstrip.
If we can pull like 5 or 6 of us YouTubers together, like get Rex and I don't know Clay and or we could just ask Lawrence to buy it for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and then we'll get like a strip because that's why I think Car Expert. They just bought or hired the old Holden testing grounds. Yeah,
because they're always on a track.
Yeah, that's what we need though, because like a lot of my favorite sort of YouTubers now, they've got their own space. Like, what's the guy's name in the UK? The OG guy.
Matt Watson?
Well, Carwell's got their own strip.
Carwell
goes, that surface seems pretty shit though. They seem to get like well off the usual seemingly time. It's not terrible.
Yeah, they've got a few spots they go to depending on, I guess, when they can get it, and where they are.
But that's what we need to do, I think, man. We need to all band together, pull some money together,
Yeah,
and like just find some place.
I know. I've been speaking to someone actually in Gold Coast who says that possibly he's friends with someone who can hook us up.
There is a channel in Australia. It's called like P Car Reviews or something.
Oh yes, I've heard of them.
They have like that's all they do.
It's like a private road, but it's very narrow.
It is. Yeah. The surface doesn't look good, but it's hard to come by in Australia to have a private of anything. Everything has to be in Mexico or Guatemala.
Yeah, that's as I go to a lot. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, that didn't work out for me very well.
No, yes, I remember that. I remember you saying, "Unfortunate, man."
Story.
So unfortunate. I know. I have to be so
not
careful.
Unfortunate. It was just my stupid.
I have to be so. You have to be so careful. Like it's.
Oh, yeah, dude. And Victoria as well. Like
Victoria's. Yeah,
Jesus
they're bad.
Christ.
Yep. Yeah, very bad.
All right, man. What else we got? The channel. What do you see, or where would you like to be, say, in a couple of years with the channel? What sort of stuff are you aiming to do?
Yeah, I've got somewhat of a vision. I'm really like I need to hit 100K. Like
you will.
I feel like I've been doing this for 5 years almost. And
I've got like 8 accounts. I'll start subscribing.
I'm doing almost 5 years, and I think we're almost at 60.
Yeah, that's good.
So
though.
I mean, it's getting up there, but it's like we got good views.
Yeah,
you know, I think we're like over 15 million views.
I actually saw the other day. I was like, "Fuck, man, that's when you get to that sort of magical million. Think about 1 million views per month. Like you got to pat yourself on the back with that. That's a lot. It's really good.
It's
the subs will come.
Yeah, they are slowly coming in. Like we've had a couple of months that do better and worse, but it only takes 1 month to like double.
Yeah, of course. That's the thing, right? It's like something's rolling the dice. Something just kicks off. It'll happen. Yeah, for sure.
But I basically. YouTube's a funny thing though. You got to kind of evolve with it too, I feel like. And I used to try and be more of a journalist, I guess, where now I'm kind of almost stepping back from being a journalist and just being like an enthusiast. Yeah. Like I kind of want to just step back and be like, this is the owner as well now in the video sometimes. So
well, people are interested in people.
Yeah, and it gives me more of a story to tell sometimes. Yeah. So if it's just a standard car, I'll still do a review just with myself, but I kind of do hunt now more unique custom cars.
An interesting story, basically.
Yeah, with there's something in the background. I've done a couple, for example, I did a over 1,000 horsepower F6 in Sydney, and Greg, who owned it, when he messaged me, he said, "Oh, I'm blind, so you'll have to drive it." But I thought he meant sort of just like, legally blind or something. But no, he was like fully blind. And he built this car too. So
awesome.
It was pretty crazy to see like
completely unique story.
And just such a guy too, like just a legend. And just recently I did another video with another person who was a bit down on his luck, to be honest, because he just had one of his dialysis or something like this. So and he had a stroke then after. So he made him to be in a wheelchair. Yeah, and he basically
assistance on the wheel, like
he could use his feet. Okay, so he could drive still, but he couldn't stand. Okay, so he just had kind of enough strength, I guess, to he could use pedals, and it was an auto. But he literally had built this car in his garage in a wheelchair.
Oh wow!
That's really cool. It made it an LSA, like put a blower on it, body kit, like all sorts, like so it's stuff like that really I like. And I'm also just in the future trying to broaden what content I post. So I would like to be able to, just maybe do topics or car collections or, tours and stuff. Like, it doesn't always have to be crazy driving.
No.
So eventually I'd like to start bringing more of that content in. But
what about travel stuff? Would you get to some other countries maybe, or what?
I would, absolutely. Yeah. I've already had a few American viewers who have been putting their hands up.
Yeah, nice.
It's a very big flight to get there, though. It's expensive, so
it's true.
It needs. I probably have to get a few sponsors by then. I've got a few people also in Dubai, of all places, who I've had reach out.
Nice.
With some crazy cars, which Dubai's on my list for sure.
Yep.
And just trying to, I guess, grow the brand, because I'm getting fortunate enough now that in Australia, almost any city I go, I can just post up and I'll have 15, 20 cars like ready to go.
Fantastic.
When I go to other countries, it's not so much this case. So I did stay in Japan last year for 2 months.
Yeah, nice.
And I was sort of asking like, anyone in Japan, and like nothing. So I had to go and rent a few cars. But
I guess there's not too many people in Japan watching HSV and FPV videos.
No.
But you never know. You never know in future.
Yeah, in future maybe.
What about the JDM stuff? What do you like with JDM?
I love JDM. Actually, JDM was like my first kind of passion, I guess. I really like JDM stuff. And yeah, that's kind of what I was almost wanting to focus on when I started the channel.
Yeah.
But I just from early on followed the views. And it was always
it's a bit of a saturated market, the JDM.
That's the problem. It's, you know, it's America, UK, Japan, like, and everyone's posting all the icons. So I found more success always trying to find a car that's never been talked about. So, you know, there's a funny story actually with the JDM car that I did a video on. I had a bit of a maybe 2 or 3 week break where I didn't film anything, but I had content saved. Yeah. And I had a guy reach out to me with a Honda Euro. Yeah. So one of those Accord things. Yeah, it was manual, but it was basically stock with wheels. Uh-huh. And I kind of was like, well, it's like a $5,000 car. Like, it's like, I don't know if it's like
what
really.
Was he saying, check out my Accord Euro. It's
he was
awesome on fuel or something.
I don't really know why, but he messaged me, and then at the time I just didn't have a lot of content, so I said, well, I don't want to get like rusty, so I'll just film it anyways, just so I keep the, you know, the wheels turning. Yeah. And
just exploded.
I filmed it, and I actually really liked the car, and then the fact that it was like such a cheap car. Yeah. I posted it up, and the thing did like 100-something thousand views real quick.
The Accord Euro, I have driven one before. It is a good car.
It did it real quick. Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you think about how many Hondas there are around the world.
Yeah, I had a lot of Americans on that video, I think. So it seems to be, and I think that's another reason, like Clay Wong, who we could talk about as well. Yeah. He's always blown up so much because he always loved Hondas. Yeah. So much Honda content.
I've seen, that's more of the focus now. Is like, well, I mean, the K24s, whatever, thrown in everything, and the spoon culture, etc.
Yeah, it's been very big.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you very much for coming on, man. It was good to hear a bit of your origin story, where you've come from, where you're going. So thanks very much for talking to us.
No dramas.
Give me your last. You got your 3 cars. Give me your dream JDM car then.
Oh, damn, dream JDM. Put me on the spot again.
That's right. I'll give you a second.
Let me have a think.
Are you more at like Nissan, Toyota, or?
Oh, I'm more like maybe. So I've driven a few of them. I always wanted like an R35, which is kind of the lame boy answer because that's like a new school car, but
that's not lame at all. That's what Rex said, I think.
Did you say R35? Did it? Yeah, I've driven so many though. It's like I don't know if it's still my dream car. Like it always was my dream car, but I don't have any more. Yeah. But actually, no. I like the 3rd gen Mark III Supra.
Okay.
The Mark III Toyota Supra. I've always liked the 80s shape of it. Like I always thought that was a cool car.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. I like the 80s vibes.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
on that note, we'll may as well finish it up. But thanks again for coming.
No drama.
It's really a pleasure to talk to you. And hopefully, next time you're back, we'll give you something to review. Maybe an SVJ or something.
Let's go. Amen. Thanks again, man. Good to see you.